The ninja. Born of a 400-year-old tradition. Trained in the most exquisite subtleties of combat. The ninja must be as wise as he is all-powerful. For if ever a ninja gives himself over to the dark side of his art, the destruction is terrifying and absolute.
My agent at the time sent me to audition for Revenge of the Ninja. And they wanted kind of a upbeat, all-American guy, you know, good-looking, strong, Clark Kent. So I went in with a nice tweed sport jacket, whatever, and I stood tall and strong and auditioned, did my best. And I guess some days later, I get back from my agent that they liked you very much, but they're concerned you're too tall. Because Sho Kosugi, the star, was trying to become the next Bruce Lee with a series of movies called, you know, Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, Return of the Ninja. He had a whole bunch of ninja movies, but he was 5'11", and at the time I think I was 6'2", something like that. They were concerned I might be too tall for him, and I had a callback audition. So I went through my closet, and you know how you have different heel height shoes? I found my thinnest, flattest heel height shoe, and then instead of wearing a tweed jacket, kind of looking big and strong, I put on a blue blazer, which is a little bit small, it diminishes you a bit, and then in standing straight up, I bent everything possible. I had my knees bent, my legs spread out. I mean, I don't know if I can move far enough back to show you all that, but my shoulder bent, and I was so busy with my head acting that I didn't want them to notice that I had everything bent. And I went down from 6'2" to 5'11" and got the part by standing short. I mean, because the bottom line was I wanted the job, not to stand tall and not get the, you know. It's all in the words. So it's all in the words. I mean, just following through the words, and acting is believing. So you believe you're whatever it is, you know, and you go from moment to moment. What was colorful about the part was it was kind of a dual role in that I started off like his friend, his good buddy, the dealer with whatever it was, those antiques in the shop in Salt Lake City, and then I turned out to be the bad guy. But just follow the script. But I do have two karate stories to tell you if you'd like. One is from Sho himself. I asked him if he ever had to use it, and he said when he first got to L.A., he arrived in a bus terminal downtown L.A., and two big bad, I think he said black guys approached him and looked like they wanted to take his suitcase, you know, and they didn't know who he was dealing with, so he kicked one in the stomach. But you understand, for Sho Kosugi to kick somebody in the stomach, it's not somebody just throwing a straight kick. It's the Japan karate champion doing a kick in the stomach. The guy bent over, doubled, and the other guy ran away. That's story one. Story two is, back then in New York, I was taking lessons in karate myself, both for the fun streets of New York, where it wasn't really that much needed, but also for movies. And one afternoon, I was on my way home. I lived Upper East Side, and I stopped. I'm not much of a drinker, but I stopped in a bar just to see what was going on in my neighborhood. And I ended up talking to some pretty girl sitting at the bar. And next thing I know, a big, tough-looking guy, kind of bald-headed, surely fully my size, from behind the bar says, "Hey, that's my girlfriend you're talking to." I said, "Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Let's step outside." Okay, we step outside. So I was carrying my portfolio of pictures and whatever you carry, acting, modeling in New York. And I stepped outside and I put it down against the wall next to him. And then I stood there looking at him. One leg slightly back, because as you might know, for street fighting, you don't want to stand straight on with a person, because that way you can take a quick knee to the groin and you're done. So you put one leg back and have one leg leaning forward. So if he throws a knee, you catch it in your thigh, not in your groin. So I stood there, looked at him, but from my lessons in karate, I was really pretty confident rather than scared, seeing what the fuck are you going to do? You know, what move are you going to make here? And he made no move, and I stood there and smiled, and I said, okay, let's go back. I think he was doing it to look good for, you know, a Trump performative move. Trump look good in front of his girlfriend, getting me to walk outside, which he did.
It's a ninja, professional soldier, specializing in espionage and assassination. About 400 years ago.
Worst bastards the world's ever known, right?
It's a common misunderstanding that the ninja were all evil. but not accurate.
Well, they still killed people.
That was their special skill, the 1,000 ways of death.
Like I said, this gallery's gonna be the best thing that's happened to this town since I got here.
They weren't shooting me every day. And I was being paid weekly. So I wrote them a little love letter, the producers, saying, I'm offering to work even more days per week for free, with no extra charge. And they didn't shoot me more days per week. And then when we got back to LA, they discovered they had 5 weeks of action scenes and they didn't have a movie. So we shot a few days in the garden of a UCLA professor's Japanese garden. He was either a professor of Japanese art or Japanese history, something. And that's where the opening scene in Ninja, with the house and the blow darts and everybody all of a sudden attacking, was shot in his garden in LA, which was more work for me because it was more work, days of work back in LA, months after completing the filming in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that scene a little bit. There's a scene in that where you have a sword fight with one of the ninjas. I was curious about that little sword fight. Do you remember if that was choreographed by Shokasugi or maybe Alan Emil?
I think Steve choreographed all the sword fights. Show was some, otherwise it was Steve. I remember one thing in that sequence. I not as a ninja, but still in my tweed jacket wardrobe, I punched somebody in the stomach. Uppercut ninja punch, but I didn't hold my fist quite firm this way, and my fist bent, hitting his, and I hurt myself punching him. when the wrist bent going in, my mistake.
There's rumors that Japanese house was actually owned by Shirley Temple. No one's been able to really kind of confirm that. Sam heard that rumor. Steve said that he saw Shirley Temple there once when he was scouting out the house. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what the folklore is around the house.
Well, I don't know that. I was told a UCLA professor of Japanese something.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's the first time we've heard that.
Well, Braden starts off as just like a charming, put-together guy, and then turns full-on, masked villain. Did you enjoy playing that duality? Was it challenging shifting between like those two sides at all, or was it just all just a good time acting?
It was all a good time acting. It wasn't that hard playing the masked villain because everybody was doubled all over the place. Like in some of the fight scenes where you see me putting on the mask and whatever, then I think Steve doubled me against Sho because he's certainly better with karate and with swords than I am. But the other scenes was all me.
That was a question actually that Frank wanted to know. He was just wondering if you had any martial arts training or weapons training on the movie, and how often were you actually in the ninja suit? Like a lot of the action was done by doubles, obviously.
Well, example, where Sho comes jumping over that wall, flying over the wall, there were stunt doubles with a trampoline on the other side, or a springboard thing, which got them to fly over the wall, kind of thing. So Sho was doubled some of the time also, and then I don't remember if it was Sho or me doing that long thing down the zip line from one building to another, crashing through a movie, but that was Steve Lambert, which was a pretty heroic stunt. My karate training was going for a belt at the Y in New York with Masoyama. He was my teacher. He was All Japan karate champion, and his claim to fame was he fought bulls in the ring. And the motto of karate used to be, when I first heard it, was one blow, one kill. In other words, it's not a swinging loose boxing punch, but rather it's a chambered punch. Chambered. So one blow, one kill. And Masoyama, the master of my teacher in New York, my sensei, would fight a bull in a ring and boom.
There's a video footage of Masoyama doing that. Yeah. He's a very legendary karate, inventing Kyoshikin karate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That's one heck of a lineage you have. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as the police look on helplessly, High above the streets of Los Angeles, he must fight the killer who was once a friend. Ancient Japanese warfare explodes in America. It's the ultimate martial arts adventure. No one can survive. The Revenge of the Ninja.
The rooftop battle is it's legendary. You know, I was just curious, do you have any? What's your first memory that comes to mind filming that? You have a great scene, you know, when they rip open your costume and just all blood, you know, spurting blood everywhere. It's such an iconic scene too for the movie. It's great.
That was a machine. That was some machine behind me with the tube, you know, the tube running up, tube pipe, whatever, running up through the costume to spurt that blood. Because I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think anybody would spurt quite that much blood. I'm not sure. Again, it was fun. Whenever you see my face without the mask on, that's me. When you see a big, drawn-out fight scene up there with Show and me, that's not me. That's Steve Lambert, who's more advanced with all of this karate and the sword fighting than I was.
Yeah, we were fortunate to talk to him for a long time too before he unfortunately passed away. Yeah, he's dearly missed. What memories do you have working with him at all? And you know, he obviously went on to have a great stunt career. Real, you know, he's been in tons of movies as well too. Just curious your memories with the late great Steve Lambert.
Steve was a good guy. He was easy to work with. He doubled me in, as I said, the fight scenes with Show. I don't remember if he doubled Show. Again, I'm not sure which character, whether it was me or Show doing that zipline thing, but that was Steve. So that was one hell of a stunt because, as I recall, there was nothing below. There was no net, and there was no big, you know, inflatable monster bag to drop into down below. Nothing. It was just him flying from one. Yeah, that was quite a thing.
He tried it. Long story short, one of the guys he was up there with made him test it first. He wasn't going to test it. They made him test it with a sandbag, and it failed the first time. The thing came off. It snapped, yeah. And he owes it was Don Shanks who told him to say no, you're not. He's like, I'm not letting you go on that thing until you test it. Because Steve was like, let's just do it. And they looked at him, and then he radioed down to Sam, and Sam's like, yeah.
They almost got in a fist fight because Don Shanks worked for Steve and was blocking him from doing it. Like stood in front of him and said, no, we're going to test this with a sandbag, and he was like, get out of my way, we're going to lose the light.
Was there a sandbag down below?
No,
well, they put a sandbag
and they
push it across.
To zip it across.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood you.
To test the weight on the line.
Yeah.
And they were losing the light, and they kept calling to Steve. Like, we're going to lose the light. So he was going to try to do it. And Don Shanks stood in front of him, who also plays the Indian villain that fights and drives the van.
Oh, him I know. Yeah. With the tomahawks.
Yeah. So he was doing stunts on the movie too and working for Steven. So so he stood in front of him and demanded that they use a bag first. And they almost got in a fist fight. And finally he was like, fine, use the bag. They pushed the bag across and it snapped. And Steve was like, oh my God. He said, the line snapped. And Steve said he just apologized to Don and hugged him and said, thank you so much. You just saved my life. And blah, blah, blah.
Wow. So, see, I don't remember that. I don't remember that scenario. What I do remember is being around him either before he started or when he arrived after crashing through the window, going down the zip line. And he was quite calm and collected and cool. Like no big deal. Like he was just getting off the subway or the bus. I mean, really calm, cool, collected. I was just a walk in the park.
Yeah.
You know, some of us might have been kind of trepidatious about that maneuver.
Oh, by the way, Keith Vitale made a comment on one of Dustin's posts because we're friendly with Keith and we've interviewed him before. And he was excited about us interviewing you. And he said that he really enjoyed working with you. And we were just wondering, there's no scene that we can think of where you don't have the mask on with Keith. And we were just wondering, like, do you remember working with Keith or what any memories there?
No, everybody was good on the show. I mean, I had no problem with it. Everybody was delightful to work with. Show was delightful to work with. Nice and easy, no ego, just doing the job. Everybody was. My only problem with the whole thing was, why aren't they using me more days per week? But that ended up with reshooting with mostly me in that whole sequence at the Japanese garden in LA. Everything else was shot in Salt Lake except for that opening sequence, which is all the Japanese garden. Yeah, which was more work for me later, you know.
Just as an actor, someone that, you know, you've been on work, you have a million movies to your credit. just curious, working with Sam, what was that like compared to, other directors or that you've worked with? Anything just special? Is he structured, or he's very open to actor input?
Open to actor input, very easy to work with. In my experience, aside from 100 kinds of directors, there's two kinds. One is, oh no, don't do that. What are you doing? Shout at the all intents and gets you all tightened up, which doesn't work well at all. And the other kind is, oh, that was nice, that was good. Now let's just try a little. That was good. Let's just try a little more of this, a little more of that. In other words, what you did was fine. Let's just do a little more of this. And Sam was certainly the second kind, all relaxed and easy and playful. In which case, the whole thing's fun because you can't do any wrong. There's no. When I was a beginning actor, I thought I'd figure it all out and have each scene. I would know exactly what I would say, what I would do. If they did another take, I would do what I would say. I had it all figured. Until I got more experience, I realized, no, wait a minute, that's not real life. In real life, every take is an improv. Every take is a new moment, is a one-act play called now, and you're only in the now. And I mean, like all three of us are, if they measured our bodies, we are physiologically different than we were 5 minutes ago. And every moment is a different moment. Back when I was Harvard, I was a psychology major, and one day I volunteered for an experiment, something about stress testing, something, I don't know what it was, but anyway, this graduate student in psychology put me in this chair, and I was all wired up. There was a rubber cable going across my chest, which measured, I guess, how fast I was breathing, and my palms were wired with electrodes for what they call GSR, galvanic skin response, which means how much you're sweating. And the guy had a wall full, like an old IBM computer worth of dials up there, and he said, relax. And I said, I am relaxed. He said, no, you're not. And he had 20 dials to prove I wasn't. Point being that, again, returning to working with Sam, every moment is a different moment, and we have to be just in that moment, and we are physically and physiologically different in that moment, and so is the world, than we were in the previous take or the next take. And all you can do is be in that, and Sam was easy with that. I don't recall his ever giving me any harsh critique or criticism or no. I was fine. I mean, the script was pretty clear and straightforward, and I was playing what was written, and Sam and I were on the same page, as I was with Show, and with, what's her name? Hot-looking girl, I don't...
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask about her, Ashley Farrar.
Yeah. Pretty.
What was it like working with her?
Pretty, sexy. Nothing much happened there beyond that. Sorry, but,
Yeah.
I mean, that's personal, but no, we kept to ourselves. She was good. She was on top of it.
There's not much information about her. She was in a few films. Everyone that worked with her on the movie that we talked to said that she was very friendly, very nice. But aside from that, no one knows what happened to her.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's such a great scene, though, with you and her and the mask and the hypnotizing her. Kathy, the dolls are gone, and yeah, it was just great. Yeah, we got to see that. We went to Sam's house, and he has that mask. He still has.
Oh yeah,
it.
we got to wear it.
We got to hold it. Yeah, it was cool.
Your voice too. You have a very distinct, incredible voice. Especially the Braden voice is like really distinct. You have like a broadcaster voice, I guess. It's really good. I was curious. The maniacal laughter of the Black Ninja, the evil ninja, is that you laughing, or is that something they added in post-production, or like overdub?
I think that's me. I think that's me laughing. I don't recall whether we did that on set or in post. That I don't recall, because I do think there was some post. Okay. We shot this in 1982. That's right. Yeah. So what's that? That's 43 years ago. So I don't remember everything.
I understand. We understand.
Absolutely.
But you have an incredible voice, and that laugh is just so great too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just an iconic scene. It's great. Canon Films, obviously nowadays has a wild reputation, fast shoots, big personalities. What was it like on the inside, just working with them at all? Like, maybe do you have any? Did you ever run into Manak Mangolan or Yoram Globus at all? Any interaction with them?
No, only at the audition. And again, where I was really careful at the callback to be as short as I could be, but by standing with everything bent. My knees bent, my legs, instead of my legs straight up, my legs were, spread out way up wide, so I would stand short. No, I don't remember anything beyond that. They were fine. They were just, yeah.
But they were at the audition, and Sam, I'm
Yes.
assuming, was at the audition. And
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think Menahem had a girlfriend who was living at the Oakwood Garden Apartments where I was living at the time in Toluca Lake. And it's from them, seeing her and them together months later, that I learned I was going to be doing more scenes. There's going to be a reshoot with more scenes. That was preceding the Japanese garden sequence. Yeah.
it's a great scene that you have when you're in Guy Fano's office, and played by the great Mario Gallo. And I was just wondering, that scene that you have with Mario Gallo and John LaMotta has the gun to your head. Do you have any memories of working with those two? Because those two guys are kind of legendary.
Mario was delightful. He's from New York. I'm from New York. But he'd be walking around Salt Lake. I remember him distinctly. Like, he was walking around New York saying, like, well, what are we doing in this fucking film, this fucking day? What are we doing in fucking here? I mean, what the fuck is this all fucked up then? I mean, it reminds me of, you ever hear what the New York alphabet is? The New York alphabet is, think of a cab driver. You're fucking A, you're fucking B, you're fucking C, you're fucking D. So Mario Gallo was walking around, what the fuck? We're doing the fucking movie. What the fuck is this? What are we doing? Fuck you. This is all fucked up for the fucking. I mean, he couldn't get through a sentence without the fuck word in it somewhere. And it was really pretty colorful. It was delightful listening to him. He was delightful. Delightful. I didn't have a problem. I mean, everybody was delightful on the film. We were there. Actors like to work. And we were there working. We were being paid weekly, for the week. And we were there for a number of weeks to shoot this thing. Being put up at the Salt Lake Hilton, which was nice, good food. Conditions were great. I've been through things a lot rougher than that. That was a good shoot. My agent called me one day after a few weeks while I'm up there, saying, what are you doing up there? I said, we're making the movie. He said, when are you coming back? I said, I don't know.
Come back when they stop paying me.
Yeah, exactly. When the
right.
checks stop coming in. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know when the last time you've seen the movie, but just curious, like if you ever see Braden, popping up now, like just what feelings come up? Nostalgia, pride, or just wow, was I cool in that movie?
No, I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm proud of the fact that it was number 3 box office in the country in October of '83 when it came out. I'm proud of the fact, as I said, it's one of the 3 that got me in the Academy, and people know me from it. When I go into auditions, some of the directors remember that movie and like it, like me, and that's halfway to getting the part, if not most of the way. If they already know you and like you,
Well, you said you studied karate before that, so were you already aware of ninjas? Like, had you read about like ninja lore, or were you totally new to ninjas when they offered?
I was fairly new. We didn't have much ninjutsu in my karate. It was just basic hands and kick, feet and hands, kicking and hands and blocks. No nunchucks, not much of that stuff. Certainly no swords. Just basic hands and feet,
So I got one more question here from a fan. He told us a fun story about when he was a kid and talked his parents into buying him the movie. He told them that the movie was for kids and that it was fine for kids to watch and stuff like that. So they bought it for him. He said that he was watching it, and of course his mom walked in right in the jacuzzi scene when she's tied up half naked in the jacuzzi, and he got in trouble and they took it away from him. His question was, this movie had a big effect on kids at the time between the ages of like 10 to 18. I was 10 years old when I saw it in 1984, so I can relate. He was just wondering, with the legacy of the film, looking back, would you let your own children or grandkids watch this movie? Is what he wanted to know.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, right? It's like a comic book movie.
Kids are into fighting. I mean, kids. I mean, as toys as kids, I had toy guns.
Sure.
Actually, I had a real live BB gun. Actually, a Daisy BB gun.
So did we. We had BB guns too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a different time. Those were different times.
Yeah.
But,
Well, yeah.
How much do you know if Braden knew like at the beginning of the script? Like, was it originally all like just the duplicitousness of it? Like, was that always there from the start, or did you discover that he was more like evil as the script went on or the story went on, or that was always just part of it and you knew like he was playing a dual sort of role here?
No, I only knew. I'm not smarter than the script in that I don't know what it tells me until I get to page 10 after page 9 and 20 after page 15. And as I go through, then I learn who I am, what the character is. I didn't have any preconception of how good or bad I was at the beginning. I don't even remember the audition, except that, I mean, whatever it was, the scene they gave me, I did the best I could with it as I understood it. It's always kind of an intuitive leap. You can figure it out a certain amount from what's written, but then beyond that, you just have to let go and let fly and let your emotions, conscious and subconscious, come in and just color the whole thing. That's the best audition. So no, I don't recall that at all, except learning as I go.
You knew you were reading for the heavy, though, right? You knew you were reading for like the villain. Did you know that?
I can't tell you. I know.
Oh, that's like a beautiful way to look at it too, because like, you know what I mean? Like Braden doesn't think he's the villain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not the bad guy.
He's not the bad guy. For him, he's just
doing what he does.
Yeah, he's just smuggling heroin and dolls and kicking the shit out of people.
The bad guy never thinks they're the bad guy.
Yeah, well, the reason I can't tell you that if I knew I was reading for the bad guy is I don't recall now at all the scene I read when I read for it, but I read the scene as written, and I don't recall it being bad guy. It was just, it may have been one of the opening scenes where I'm whatever I am, but whatever I did, thank God they liked it enough to call me back, you know? I mean, I know I'm a very good actor and reasonably or quite good looking for my age group. And I also know, having been a New York actor, as wonderful as I am, there's also a few other actors who are also good and good looking for the part, like 20 or 30 or 40 or 100. And what I've told my wife, who is also an actress, she used to say, "Why didn't we get that? Why didn't we get that?" And I said, "I know why we didn't get it. Because they picked somebody else. And the one thing I know for sure is that I know that I don't know what they're thinking. And since I don't know what they're thinking, I always just go in and do my best. One of the things I do, one of my secrets, by the way, and this is good for other actors out there who listen to this one, is one of the things I do, I always ask, whether it's a Zoom audition or a live in person, they say, "Any questions?" And I say, "Yeah, I have one question. Can we play with this, please?" Meaning, if you'd like it any different, whatever I do, let me know. See if we'll do that, okay? And the whole point is to show them like 10 characters in a second or two. So you can do that or this or that or that. Doesn't matter. Because I'm never attached to my reading or my audition. If they want it different, I'll do it different. If they want it faster or slower or bigger or smaller or whatever, and they'll decide what they want. Some years ago, I just moved into this condo where I live now, and I had a whole bunch of refurbishing, redecorating, renovating to do, maybe $5,000 worth, something or other, I don't know. And I, at that time, had an audition for a Humana commercial. And I had a callback for Humana, the health insurance company, and I practiced it. I rehearsed those lines. I went in and then I nailed it. I was perfect. I read it. I never heard a thing, nothing. I knew I nailed it. And it would have been a $5,000 buyout job. It would have paid for all my renovation expense. Months later, I run into the casting director from that, and I said to her, "What happened? Why? What happened?" She said, "Art, you were perfect. You nailed it. They thought you were too upscale and too good looking. They wanted somebody more middle American." Now, I can't make myself into Redford or Newman, and I can't make myself into a gargoyle. I am what I am. And some days they like it, and some days they don't. More on the same tack, more recently, there was an audition for God that I taped. And it was kind of funny. So I gave him an upper-class English God, and I gave him a New York tough God, and I gave him kind of a gay God, and I gave him 4 different gods. I know I nailed the thing to the wall. Never heard a thing. Months later, I get a thing from the casting director that he said to my managers, "Thanks for submitting me. I'll read it to you. It was a true honor to have him audition. If you don't mind passing this message." See, I didn't know I didn't get it. You ready? So here's what he said. I knew I did great. He said, "It was a true honor to have you audition for the project. I laughed out loud with all 4 takes and watched them countless times. I'm a big fan of yours and have seen a number of your past performances." Here we go. "Ultimately, our casting decision was influenced by non-performance based factors. Thank you again for your time and talent, and your immense talent." And they came back later and they said I was too strong looking, too good looking. They wanted somebody who's more of a weakling, a little thing to make God funnier. So I didn't get that because I didn't look like what they had in mind. My point being, for all actors out there listening, you have no control over that. You just go in and do your best as you understand it and see the character, and they're going to choose what they choose. At any given day, I've taught acting at UCLA and Santa Monica College, and I explain to people, we're in LA, and LA, New York, and Chicago are the 3 biggest markets in the country. In any given day, they can pick somebody who is, now think of a parameter, taller, shorter, thinner, fatter, more country-looking, more city-looking, prettier, ruggeder, tougher, meaner, and they get to choose what they want. And you can't ever be all those things. You are who you are, and they're going to pick what they want, what their preconception is, and you have no idea what that is. So you go in and do your best. Thank God for Ninja, they wanted me. That was the day I won. Most of the time, you don't get the part. Why? Because they chose somebody else.
Yo, it starts in Japan, bodies hit the floor, ninjas in the shadows, blood spilling at the door. Joe's whole clan got slashed in the night, now he's burning with vengeance, sharpening the fight. Moves to LA, trying to find peace, but the demons of the past just never cease. His boy Braden got that mask in the blow, pushing ninja blades back in the kabuki show. Steel flashing, blood splashing, vengeance in his veins, honor in the silence while he's serving up pain. Shadow in the night, throwing stars in the flinch, it's revenge of the ninja, don't you dare flinch. Red suit, silver mask, Braden ain't playing, but Joe got the skills, ain't hearing what he's saying. Straight to the rooftop, duel of the gods. One slinging death, the other's beating the odds. Kid gets caught, now it's personal and deep. No more mercy, just permanent sleep. Katana in hand, rage in his soul. When the mask comes off, it's a funeral toll. Steel flashing, blood splashing, vengeance in his veins, honor in the silence while he's serving up pain. Shadow in the night, throwing stars in the flinch, it's revenge of the ninja, don't you dare flinch. Smoke bomb, slow-mo, kicks to the chest, every move tight like you train with death. Shokasugi, he ain't just a name, he's the ninja king in the Hall of Fame. Final fight's lit, Braden's breathing fire, the Joe's got wrath climbing higher and higher. One last strike, blade to the heart, that mask hits the floor, ripping evil apart. Shadow dancer, soul enhancer, death's on cue. Mess with the ninja, you won't get through. Revenge ain't sweet, it's a crimson stain. Joe's wrath brings down like a freight train. Revenge of the ninja, final breath, no doubt. Fade to black as the blood runs out.
If you're thinking of going behind my back and funnel, you're making a big mistake. Very big mistake. You don't even know me yet.
The Black Ninja. A disciple of evil who kills for pleasure.
Revenge of the ninja, final breath, no doubt. Fade to black as the blood runs out.
2 warriors. One in the service of evil. One bound by honor and vengeance must fight to the death. Because only a ninja can kill a ninja.